Hello and welcome to my little corner of the world. Over to you. Thank you so much for joining me. This is just so awesome to have you here today on this beautiful spring day. And when spring comes, I get some really exciting guests. It's better than these other seasons for sure. Today is absolutely no different. I speak with the legendary drummer known as Carmine Appice. He was in a band called Vanilla Fudge, which has done some really trippy stuff way back in the late 1960s. If you hear that first album of theirs, it's just so trippy. I mean, they do some Beatles covers there. Just get it wherever you can. But Carmine went on to a bunch of other projects, and this band is called Cactus, which has been around, but lately they've been doing these cover albums and they have another volume of blues classics that they cover. This time out, just like the other time out, he gets all these wonderful musician all-stars in there. And this roster is just amazing. He was able to get, I had to look over here because there's just so many people involved with this. Steve Morse, Deep Purple, uh, Alex Skolnick from Testament, and Tracy Guns from LA Guns. But one of the bigger names there is Dee Snider. And the lead-off single for this project, they did this awesome music video we talk about. So look that up. Dee Snider, which I didn't know he was wanting to go into retirement, but Carmine pulled him back out, and when you think you're out, somebody like Carmen pulls you right back in. That is, and it's just such a great cover, Little Red Rooster. They're really into covering these Willie Dixon penned tunes. So get on in there and listen to this. It's just Temple of Blues Part Two, Volume Two. It's just an incredible amount of tracks on there. I just can't rave enough about this. Ted Nugent's on this. He's known Ted Nugent for quite some time and just an absolutely incredible musician. You got to really check this out. I'm really, really enjoying listening to this. You can't just listen to this once either. It's just an incredible story of how he was able to get all this talent together. And nobody was all in the same room, as we talk about. Carmine really gets into using the technology and somehow is able to mix this thing into an incredible piece of music. So, check it out wherever you can. We have a really, really good talk. Carmine is all over the place, always traveling the world, maybe coming to a town near you. Can't make any of those promises, but I'm telling you something. Get on wherever you get music. Temple of Blues, Volume 2. Pat Travers is on this. I was just trying to mention some other folks on here. Some really, really amazing stuff here. Uh, Great cover of Backdoor Man. Really just incredible, incredible. Rudy Sarzo from Ozzy's band, Ozzy Osbourne, also Quiet Riot. So get this, folks, you will not be disappointed. This is true blues. Hopefully this gets the accolades that Carmine is really hoping to get for this in the blues music world. It's all
Anyway,
taken over. It's AI. It's all
yeah,
taken over. And we're seeing that happening in music.
yeah. Have you seen our video? The
Yeah,
speak about
yeah.
AI. All Dee Snider is all AI in
I
the
like
car,
that. Yeah.
the car and all that, but the singing and everything's real.
New
But
video with Dee Snider that is also promoting this wonderful new project.
yes,
It's just amazing. He sounds
he
incredible on
sounds
that.
great, and I think that might be the last performance of his career of something new
Wow. I
because
never thought I'd see that day.
yeah, because he stopped playing. He was gonna sing on the thing we have April 3rd, we have a big charity event. That's the day the album comes out, and everyone that comes in, it's a $25 ticket, cheap, and they get a free album. And Dee was going to sing on it, but he's not. And Ted Nugent was going to do it. He can't do it. So he's going to make a big video for us. And but we do have Doug Pinnick, Doug Aldridge, and Bumblefoot, and Billy Sheehan, Eric Gales, and Pat Travers, and Tony Franklin. So I think it's a big enough bill to draw in the people. And I'm sorry he can't be there. My singer from my Rod show, Rod Caudle, he's gonna sing what Dee was gonna sing. He has the same kind of voice, and he sings like Rod, but it's the same kind of growly kind of voice, and he can do that, and he's gonna help MC it. But I told him you can't look like Rod, so he's gonna grease his hair back and wear a hat, and I said wear normal clothes, not all these Rod Stewart clothes, because he looks just like Rod when he does it, you know.
Yeah, a
So
little bit too cheesy, but this Temple of Blues 2, this is the
yeah,
second
and this is
volume.
volume, and so far people are loving it. They got a lot of crazy things on the video is awesome,
Yeah, yeah,
with
check it
it
out.
where the
Definitely.
rooster turns into a woman only temporarily,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
at the end, when it blows up again, we have Dee Snider looking at it like, oh, like with a big expression of oh wow on his face, And I thought when we did the video and I sent it to Dee and I said, man, I hope he likes it because if he don't like it, we're in trouble, you know. But he
Yeah,
said, it's freaking amazing.
right. This video starts out in black and white, and then
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
certain point, it just pops into
It pops into
color.
color. Yeah. I mean, I worked with this guy named is Dom Esposito, and
Mm,
his company is DeVille Films, and I've seen other work that he did. So I said, and I was on some of the stuff with my friend Randy Pratt that he did. That's where I found him. And I said, look, this is what I'd like. I'd like it to be old Southern, like in 30s, 40s, you know, and we end up playing in front of a shack, or we're in the fields and, it's got that whole old blues flavor, black and white. And then at a certain point, it turns into
yeah,
color, you know,
it's amazing. Great direction
and
by that. The Little Red Rooster, great track off this new
yeah,
album. And that is a Howlin' Wolf tune, right, from the
Howlin'
early
Wolf song,
60s.
actually 8 of the songs
You
on
got
the
a lot of
are
influence
Howlin'
there.
Wolf because last time we did all the Cactus songs, and it was blues rock, and I wanted to try and get on the a Grammy nomination for blues because everybody was on the blues charts. We broke in at number 3 on Billboard, and there was Slash on the blues charts, and not Ingrid, Slash and Robin Trower and Foghat. So that's when we changed the name from Cactus Influences and Friends to Temple of Blues Influences and Friends. That
Yeah.
was the first one. But they put us on when it came out for the Grammys, they put us on the regular charts
Ah,
with Taylor Swift.
you can't
I
win
said, it's
there.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So this time we only had 3 Cactus songs. And I said, I always loved the Howlin' Wolf Electric album. That's where we got Evil from. So I
Nice.
said, I'm going to go to that album and look at the songs. And I looked at all the songs. I said, we could do a majority of these songs
Yeah.
on this album and done like what we did in the 70s with Evil and do it today with these other 8 songs or 7 songs, you know. And they're written by Howlin' Wolf and Willie Dixon. So you
Yeah.
can't say ain't a blues album. This is a blues
Totally.
album done heavy.
Oh, completely. It went all out. Went all
Yeah.
out. Backdoor Man, part one and two. It's just what?
Unbelievable. Right. That one was wild because Eric Gale said he would do it. So I said, "Wait, we got to give him a blues. So I can't get any more bluesy than Backdoor Man." And he sang it as well.
Mm.
And some of the lyrics is so funny because it's really filthy dirty.
Oh, totally. I mean,
When you listen to it, and if you listen to it generically, it isn't. But if you really get into what he's saying, he is. So he did it. The way I record the whole album is I start with the drums. I put a click on. I sing the riff with my voice, and
mm,
I sing the vocal where it goes, and then I send it to my guitar player Artie Dillon. He puts a guitar and a bass on it, and then my singer Ed Terry does a vocal, and there's the demo.
nice,
We
nice.
send the
Yeah.
demo to whoever. So when I sent the demo to him, we sent stems. Stems are individual tracks. The guitar, bass, drums, all that. So he obviously took the vocal and the guitar down, and he sang it and played. It was awesome when he played in the six
Mm,
eight part. Da
nice.
da da dun,
Yeah.
da, that part. Then it ended, and then I said, I really want to hear him smoke you know. So I did
Yeah.
that, boom, digga, 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 boom, digga, 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 and we double timed it. And when he sent it back to me, he didn't play the second part two. I said, dude, why didn't you play that? He goes, I thought that was for the drums. I said, no, man, it's for you. I want to hear you smoke on that. So he did. And then
Yeah.
we gave it to Billy. So it was already, everything was done except the bass. So if you listen to it carefully, and some of the solos that Eric does, Billy plays along with him,
Nice. Billy
which is
Sheehan. Yeah.
amazing. Billy Sheehan, which is amazing.
Wow.
And somebody said he used to do that with Mr. Big. I never heard that before. So when I heard it, I said, wow, this is amazing. And that happened a bunch of times throughout the album because you start with the drums, you build the demo, and then you hand it out to people. And they do their thing, and it comes back different than what I was thinking,
Yeah.
So it comes back most of the time, actually all the time, it came out better than what I was thinking. But it
Man, they're
was
excellent
what a
jams on that.
job. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have a spreadsheet with all the guys I want to call,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
then a
have a huge
spreadsheet with the
roster
guys
here.
that said they would do it, and then a spreadsheet of all the songs, and I say, well, this one might work with that one, maybe this one will work with that one. When I did Bad Stuff, which is a Cactus song from the fourth Cactus album, and I got Joel and Turner to sing it. So my singer sang, and he did a great job singing it. And Joe said, why do you want me to sing this? These guys singing it great. I said, but he's not Joel and Turner.
Yeah, yeah,
I want
yeah.
you to sing it.
Do it your way. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did a great job. And then same with Steve Morse. I left a little more room for guitar solo on that song than I did for the keyboard, which was Derek Serenian. One more round. And God, Steve did an unbelievable job of building his solo. And
Wow.
that's one of the ones that really surprised me.
Oh,
And
love Deep Purple growing up. It's just that's just like they say,
yeah,
the soundtrack of our lives. It's just amazing stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
So it's it was really an experience. And while I'm doing all this, I'm playing gigs. I'm playing the
Well,
Cactus, I'm playing with my Rod show, I'm doing some Vanilla Fudge stuff.
oh.
Because once I send things out, it takes a minute to get it.
Yeah,
And
send it out all to the mixer. Is it all done up there in New York, cobbling it all together
yeah,
production wise?
all different people. I
Yeah,
live in Florida. I have my studio in my house.
beautiful.
Luckily, and I learned to engineer myself. I have my co-producer, Pat Regan,
Mm.
takes the songs and mixes them and makes them sound unbelievable. It makes my drum sound. I get a good drum sound. Then
Oh
he
yeah,
takes it
you
to the
could hear
next
it.
level. He takes it to the next level. You know, it's great. When I put it all together and I listen down to it all, I go, wow, this
Yeah.
kicks ass. This sounds good.
Yeah, the drums is like the foundation. I
Yes,
always feel it's
drums are always a foundation too.
totally you're building up on that,
If
and
you don't have the right
yeah.
feel on drums, for instance, I do, you keep me hanging on with my Rod show because I did it with Rod, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we do it and it gets an amazing, reaction all the time, but it has the same feel because it comes from the drums. I heard other people try and do it. It just doesn't sound right,
Yeah,
because the drums are not right. Even if they're playing the parts, it's just the feel isn't right.
you could hear it throughout the entire project here. But what I love is that overmodulation on Backdoor Man. It's just
It's
that's very
unbelievable,
purposeful.
right? Where it goes up tempo, which is
Yeah.
you're not expecting it. I try to do things you're not expecting, like the song we did with Melanie.
Yeah, Melanie
So
before
that's
she
a long way
passed.
from the
Yeah.
roller skate song.
Oh yeah, Purple Haze is her own take on that, and great that you captured that before she left us
Well,
2 years
no, we
ago.
captured it well, it's a combination actually.
Little trickery
Brian
there.
Brian Pereira, who owns Cleopatra Records, owns her. The estate gave them the rights to use her voice
Ah, okay. Okay.
performances. So
Yeah.
he said, I would love Cactus to play Purple Haze with Melanie. I'm going, wait a minute, she's dead, you know? And he says, yeah, but I got the rights to her voice. I have
Sweet.
a killer version of Purple Haze that she did with an acoustic guitar. We lifted the voice out. So
Ah.
let me send it to you.
Oh yeah.
But he sent it to me. I said, wow, that's Melanie. That's when she screams, it sounds like Janis Joplin,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
She's captured that.
I said,
Yeah.
okay, so what we did, me and Pat's an engineering monster. He's fantastic. He's done so many people. He does Richie Blackmore. He does all my stuff lately. King Kobra, my solo albums, Vanilla Fudge. He's done Mr. Big. He's done guys with from Kiss. He's done Kiss. He's
Crazy,
great.
crazy.
I said, so what should we do here? So, well, let me take the song, the vocal, let me stretch it so it's on we can do it on
Mm.
a click. All right. I said, okay.
Nice.
So he put
Yeah.
it on the click, and then I put the arrangement to it with the drums first. The whole intro went, then it went break, and it's Purple Haze, and
Crazy.
bam, all that big stuff, and it goes up tempo and down tempo. That arrangement's following my drums. I started that. We did a breakdown, and all that stuff came from the drums. And then I gave it to Artie, my guitar player from Cactus, and Tony Franklin played on that because our bass player was out. And Tony's done gigs with us before as Cactus, recently
Mm.
as last year. So I said, Tony, you want to play on this? He said, yeah. So we gave it to Tony. He did some great bass. And then we added, everything we needed. And then we put her vocal on. And on her track, she was some guys going like, hoo, ha,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I know some
I said, I
effects on
like
there.
that. I said, no,
Yeah.
so I did that at the end. And
Nice.
when we finished it, Pat mixed it. We did release it on its own last year, but without any push or nothing. Just released it. And then Pat said, well, I'll remaster it and I'll make it sound even better. So he remastered it and we did something different in the middle. In the middle, we put all kinds of weird echoes and
Yeah.
radio
Great
voice
effect
and all
there.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. About 250 in there. I just noticed
Yeah,
that.
and
I noticed
then
it.
then the whole band comes in again. Then at the end, excuse me, while I push the
Yeah.
sky,
Yeah.
sky, sky, very psychedelic. So we did that differently. We wanted to make it a bit different, remastering and put those parts together, and came out fantastic. I mean, everybody that hears that now goes, "Oh my God, that's Melanie,"
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
That technology is there for us to do these kind of things. That and
I mean,
taking advantage of that.
I mean, just the
Yeah.
fact that nobody on this album was ever in the same room.
Yeah. That's
Right?
amazing. You
And
never
the
thought you would
last
do
album,
that.
and all
Yeah.
these albums I've done in my studio, all these albums, they're fantastic. I love it now. When I moved and I got a guest house, my brother Vinny built me the system because Vinny's a computer geek and he built his system. And I said, hey, Vin, I need to get a system. So he said, I'll build it for you. So he built it, tried it out in California, sent it to me, and then through FaceTime showed me how to work it. And that's been like 4 years, 5 years. And I learned how
Wow.
to engineer it all myself. I went on different, YouTubes. So how do you do
Yeah.
this? How do you do that? Now I've done everything. I've done drums there. I've done vocals.
Wow.
I played bass on some of this on this 2 volume, like Moanin'. I played
Really?
bass on it
Wow.
originally.
Nice.
Because it gives me a better feel if like I said, I did the voices and I had the track of voices and a track of riffs. And I said, you know what? I got this old 1961 Fender Precision bass, which you just got to plug it in. I plugged it in and it just sounded great. So I started playing it. And then I played the whole arrangement with the vocals, me and the bass. And then I put the drums to it. And then there's a little part on Moan, which goes do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. It's
Nice.
something I got off the Howlin' Wolf album. They did it with a guitar.
That's incredible.
I
Yeah,
have
I
I
love
have
that.
an iPad with GarageBand. It has a B3. I plugged that in and I played on the little B3. The B3 is like that big. And I did it on there, put it on. And my engineer Pat says, I don't know if I like that. I said, man, I love that. Just leave it in. It's so cool. It's different, you know. So it's
Yeah.
everything, So now I've done everything in my studio. I played bass. I've recorded. Man, I don't know my throat. Hold
Yeah. Yeah.
on.
Take a
I've
yeah.
recorded. Yeah, I've recorded keyboards, regular keyboard. I did some Christian songs I wrote, and I had
Mm.
the keyboard player come over. He plugged it in. We did voices there. We did guitars. I recorded Eric Bloom. I
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah, I know that artist. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah. The
yeah.
guy that the guy that is giving us money from his fund, his parents' fund is he funded what we're basically doing in April 3rd in the studio. I mean, in the theater with everybody, you know.
That's gonna
So
be a good
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
Timothy Ryan's his name, and I'm working with him with Pat again. He does spoken words. We're doing like really cool backing tracks to his spoken word. So
That's
that's
really
how we got
innovative.
involved
Yeah.
with him. I always
Yeah.
try different things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's how you're embracing technology. I mean, did you ever think years ago when you did that first Vanilla Fudge record that
No,
you'd be
man.
doing this these days?
Do you know, You Keep Me Hanging On was a one take mono, everything at once as
It's
a
trippy.
demo. And who knew that was the 7 minutes that changed my life?
Yeah. It's just, you hear that first Vanilla Fudge album and it's just so trippy.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
such from its time.
Yeah. And then
Definitely.
they ruined our career with the second album, which was terrible. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. So Ahmet Ertegun, the owner
Yeah,
of the
Atco.
company,
Yeah.
and Shadow Morton, now let's do a concept album.
Mm,
It's a second album. Everybody who was big with us,
yeah.
Hendrix and the Cream and all those bands, Jefferson Airplane, everyone that was big went on to become huge because they did their second album just like their first album.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we had songs, Season of the Witch, which went on the third album, that was ready to be on the second album, and like three or four other songs, Soul Song, One More Heartache, and a few songs. And we would have had a second album, like the first album, that probably would have caught a single. And
Keep it
keep me
going.
hanging
Yeah.
on. When you keep me hanging on, hit as a single, we had three albums on the charts. And that Beat Goes On when the terrible one was like 99. The other
Mm,
two were like 15, and the first album was up there again. But but anyway, it brought
yeah.
me to where I am now because I did
Oh,
all
yeah.
these different things.
You live and learn. And you got
Yeah.
Ted Nugent on this, which how
Yeah.
was that pretty easy to get him?
Yeah,
You've been
me and
yeah.
Ted have been friends since 1967.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
played with him
Growing
and
up.
I've done a lot of things together with him, and he's done these albums. I mean, he loved Cactus. He loved Jim McCarty. He loves me as a friend, as a drummer. He always says, "No, Carmine's the best." He said, John Bonham learned from him. That's Ted saying
Oh,
that.
that's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've had that in a lot of magazines and a lot. At one point, I couldn't say that, until a book came out called Thunder of Drums, and where Bonzo was quoted as saying that, and so was Cozy Powell, actually. So it gave me the ability to say that without being like looking like an egomaniac, you
Right.
know.
Let them say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I let
No,
them
no.
say it. So that was it. Then
Spoonful.
I would
Yeah.
do like Rhythm Magazine in England and said Carmine Appice, the man who influenced John Bonham, or Carmine Appice, the man who invented heavy rock drumming and that kind of stuff, which is good. I said, just call me the Godfather.
That's good enough right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people call me the Godfather of heavy rock drumming, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
just
What a
became a grandfather.
wow. Yeah. The
Yeah,
grandfather of it. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Luca Carmine Appice is his name. My son's name is Nicholas Carmine Appice because I didn't want to give him the name Carmine, my son. He would have been the third because everybody calls me Carmen. And yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Mine doesn't spell men. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so.
They could totally script that pronunciation easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just go comment a piece, comment a piece. Anyway,
Awesome. Yeah,
so you
great
must have some
release.
questions. I probably answered a lot of them.
Probably didn't. I was very interested in about the whole process of getting this album together and
Yeah,
how, yeah, the technology was there. Because you can't get this cast of characters all in one place.
no
There's just
way.
no way.
There's no way. I mean, I've been doing that for so long now. The part of it was started at Pasha Studios years ago when I did the Ted Nugent album there, and I didn't like the drum sound, so I changed the whole drum sound with Dwayne Barron. Then once we got the drum sound there, then they used that drum sound on that Big Quiet Riot record. And then I also learned to punch drums in and out where, it used to be you do one track of drums, the whole thing. But no, that's no good. Do another. But now you're on take 10 or 12. By then you lose the feel. I said, man, why can't I do like everybody else? Where, we do a basic drum track and say, I want to fix that fill and go in and fix it. So me and Dwayne Barron figured that out. It's in 1982. So I've been pretty much doing that since 1982 on all my records. The Blue Murder record, I redid the whole record. I did the whole
Amazing.
record, and then Bob Rock said, "We got a much better drum sound. What do you think? Should we do it all over?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it over." So we did the whole record over, and I punched in the fills. I tried to make every fill different, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a repetition of fills on the whole record. It's unique. It's really, and it makes it more fun because the other way
Mm.
you do the drum track, you finally get it, and then the bass player puts his bass on, and no, I want to redo that and redo this, and he's able to do that, guitar and vocal, but the drums ain't able to do that. It makes it not as fun
That's
as
so true.
the
Yeah.
other players. So finally, I learned to do that, and now I do it the other way, where I start with the drums, and it used to be on the first album we did with Parchment Farm and One Way or Another. I did without any vocal or nothing. I just did it from my
Just
head.
start with that. Yeah.
But then I found that if I wanted to punch something in, I didn't know where I was
Mm.
on the
Mm.
track because there was nothing to identify. It was in the verse or I was in the solo. You know, I said, I got to fix that. So that's when I came up with the fact of doing the click and doing the riff like Evil. I go bam, 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 the bam, ba bam, ba bam, ba bam, 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 drum fill. Da, 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 da. So I do that for the whole song,
Nice.
verse, solo. And then I'll
Yeah.
go in and actually do the vocals.
Nice.
Then, if I'm in the song, I know where I am.
Right. That works for you. And then
Yeah, I
that
know where
result
I
is,
am. It's like,
yeah.
otherwise, if you just do it in your head, you don't know where you are. Are you in the solo? Are you in a verse? You know?
Yeah.
So I developed this new technique for myself, which has been working.
Another great track, you have a Tail Dragger with Rudy Sarzo from Ozzy's band. It's
Yeah,
just got this serious harmonica.
and what about the harmonica guy is great.
Wow. Yeah.
Rockin' Jake from LA. I mean,
Yeah.
he's from Florida,
I
actually.
don't know how you do it on the harmonica. I remember it reminds me of Toots Thielemans, was one
Yeah.
of these great harmonica players. It's like, what a
Yeah,
talent.
yeah. I mean, we got a few songs with harmonica, so uh, we just went the whole bit with the harmonica. My singer, Ed Terry, plays harmonica, not as good, but he'll cover it
Yeah.
really good. So we had some guys playing in detuned guitars, and so we just detuned all the guitars, so everybody's in one key. So we had to change four harmonicas. So
Mm.
so I bought five harmonicas, and they're not cheap. You
No.
know
Yeah.
just for the one show, you know? And
Yeah.
and then we find out I only needed three, and
Better
there's
to
only
have more.
one song called Alaska. It's the only one that had this one harmonica. I said, you know what? We'll just do Bumblefoot plays slide, fretless. He plays fretless guitar like on Token Choke, and it's fretless guitar, it's not a slide. And so I said, and Artie, my guitar player, I said, Artie, you play like a wah-wah solo and let Bumblefoot play the slide solo, the fretless guitar, and that'll make up for the harmonica. It's silly to buy a $60 harmonica for one song. You're only going to
Yeah.
play one time, you know?
Yeah. Token
So,
Chokin. Token Chokins is one of these tracks that kind of reminded me of like a cross of like some Aerosmith influence there and kind of
oh
reminds me of
yeah,
the early Wings stuff too. It has kind of like that twang to it too.
Aerosmith, they were influenced by Cactus.
Oh, it had to
So,
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
know
could
they
just
haven't.
tell.
And there was one gig at the Boston Tea Party before they made
Yeah.
it. We were playing there, and 3 nights we were supposed to be there, and something happened. Somebody got sick or something, so we had to cancel. They replaced us. So they
Hmm.
played to our crowd, and that was interesting.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah,
You could
but
see that.
yeah, there's a lot of Cactus influenced a lot of stuff. It influenced Kiss. That when Kiss went to see Cactus and Alice Cooper, and
Oh, yeah.
I was told by the members that before they made it, they were thinking if we can get the rawness of Cactus and the show like Alice Cooper and the energy of Cactus,
These guys.
will be
Yeah.
happening.
Mm,
And that's what they did pretty much, I think. But it's
nice.
great. I mean, for me, it's great that thinking about all the people that influenced, like Joe Bonamassa, when I did his
Oh, yeah.
podcast, he said, "Oh man, Parchment Farm." When I heard Parchment Farm, which is on the first album, first album of Cactus and the first of these blues albums, Temple of Blues. I went on there and I said, well, we're redoing that for this Temple of Blues album. I'd love for you to play the solo. And he said, yeah, I'd love to. So there I am on his podcast saying he would do it. So he couldn't go
Oh, yeah.
back,
Yeah,
you
he
know.
can't back out.
Yeah.
It's on
So he
record.
played the actual solos and Jim McCarty played the fills, and we had a
Cool.
different singer at the time and Billy Sheehan on bass, And
Yeah.
Billy told me when Tim Bogert passed away, he said, anything you need for Cactus and Vanilla Fudge, I'm there. And Billy's a good guy. I know him a long time. And Tim
Yeah.
Bogert was his favorite guy. Tim
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
underrated. He was Rudy Sarzo, Tim Bogert, Billy Sheen, Tim Bogert. It was when I started working with Tony Franklin, I thought he must have listened to Tim Bogert because he sounded a lot like him.
Yeah, he must have
He
been
said,
influenced.
I
Yeah.
really never listened to Tim Bogert. I said, that's
Yeah.
really wild.
That is that is pretty crazy. So if you do another volume, are there any dream guests you want on the next
Oh, I'd love to
volume?
have Slash again. I'd love to have Joe Perry.
Ah,
Uh,
Joe Perry. Mm.
Bass players, I mean, who's better than Billy Sheen, Rudy Sarzo, and Tony Franklin? Our bass player from Cactus, those are great bass players, all of them. I'd have to think about that. The original guy from Metallica, who was that?
Oh gosh. Yeah, that goes way back.
Yeah, because I did uh, that metal show, and me
Yeah.
and my brother did it when we took it in and out of the commercials, and he was on
Mm.
Edelson. Is that name Edelson?
Sounds familiar.
Is it
Yeah.
Dave? Anyway, I'd love to
Yeah.
get him because he's really good. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Amazing. Yeah, I get that. That's an amazing band, Metallica. Yeah.
yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's where heavy metal started.
Oh
You know,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
and
where
people go
it's
like Motley Crue, Van Halen, Dio, Ozzy. That wasn't heavy metal. Even Black
yeah.
Sabbath wasn't heavy metal. That's all hard rock. Heavy
Yeah,
metal is the
Metallica's
buzz
really
sounding
it.
guitar and
Yeah.
the
Those guys like yeah.
bass
Yeah.
drums following guitar,
Mm. Yeah.
not following the bass.
Yeah, James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine and
Yeah,
just
see,
incredible.
and that's when heavy metal started, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. Testament, all that stuff. The buzzsaw guitars. You know,
Oh, it's absolutely
Before that,
amazing.
it was all hard rock. Dio was hard rock. You know, King Cobra was hard rock. Blue Murder was even hard rock. You
It's
know,
yeah.
it was
But yeah,
heavier, but
that's
it was still hard rock.
yeah, a lot of people don't understand. They get that mixed up even with like disco, like, well, no, the Bee Gees weren't really that. They always
Yeah,
go
they
back and
had
say
great
that.
songs.
Yeah, amazing.
They had
That
great songs,
entire catalog.
you know, I mean, speaking of disco, when I played with Rod before Tom Dowd took a hold of "Do You Think I'm Sexy," it sounded like "Missing You" from the Stones.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Rod said, "I want a song like that," and then I brought in the changes and the groove, and then Tom Dowd added all these things on it, a bunch of keyboard. David Foster was a session guy; he's on that. Orchestra, all kinds
Oh,
of stuff. We
it's
went from
amazing.
124 track to 224 track. And all of us in the band go, man, it's like he's ruining it. But then when he came out, it went to number one in 15 countries. So
You
can't
can't
argue with
argue
it.
with that.
I can't argue with it. I wrote Rod's biggest song, which I still can't believe, and he's still friends with. We started this Rod show, Katja Reichman played with Rod 14 years. She played sax. You've probably seen her on pictures with
Oh
Rod.
yeah.
And so me and her played with Rod. So we don't want to call this thing a tribute. Everything's a tribute today.
Yeah. That's what makes the
So
money.
I said to Rod, we're going to call it Rod the Show, celebrating the music and legacy of Rod Stewart. Right? Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I sent it to Rod. I said, what do you think? I said, yeah, everything's a tribute. What do you think? He said, wow, I'm honored. you
Mm.
know. And before that, Catcher sent pictures of our singer, Rob. He looks like Rod. He sounds like Rod, and he dresses like Rod. So Rod said he hadn't heard him sing yet. He said, "Man, he looks like me, and he dresses like me."
Yeah.
And I said, "This guy lives you. He does. He lives. It's not a wig. That's his hair. He runs
Yeah.
around walking. I mean, I'm in Walmart with him, Somebody will come over, is that Rod Stewart?
Yeah,
I mean, think
I
about
think it
that. Rod
is.
Stewart in Walmart. I don't
I
think,
don't think so.
yes. But anyway, I said, no, he's just the lead singer of the show we had. And we explained the show. But it does well. Everywhere we go, people love it.
Yeah.
And so now we say that Rod endorses it, because he said I'm honored, which is basically an endorsement.
Yeah, it keeps the music alive, those tributes.
Yeah,
I've
and
known it
and
with all these artists. Yeah.
all the art and it's also, like reasonably priced.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
true
mean, come
too.
on, you go see Rod Stewart now, and there's $1,000, $400 or $500.
If you want a decent seat. Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, you come and see our show, we have more energy. We're like the 1979 Rod that everybody loved, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
we
It
do six
reminds me.
nights at the Forum and 5 nights at the Garden, and in Australia, like 120,000 people, LA, 120,000 people,
Huh,
you know.
wow.
But it's been fun.
Yeah, yeah, you're keeping it going, and it's very inspirational to see somebody. And I hate that word legacy. That always makes you
Yeah,
sound so dated. But, just
yeah,
having this experience and really embracing the new technology is so
yeah.
inspirational to see that.
Well, I've always been one for trying new things.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, look at my career. Anytime something broke up, I was immediately on to something else.
yeah,
Vanilla Fudge. We broke up and started Cactus. It was supposed to
yeah,
be Jeff Beck and Rod Stewart. It didn't happen. We did it anyway. And then
yeah,
we did get together with Jeff Beck, BBA. And then after that, I had this crazy group, KGB, with Mike Bloomfield, you know, and that didn't
right.
work out. And I
Uh,
got offered to join Rainbow at the time. And I
yeah,
couldn't do it because I was signed to MCA Records, right? And then I went, after BBA, I also went to England. I played on Blow by Blow, and that didn't work out, and I was mad that it sold 2 million albums, and Jeff was, doing 5,000 seaters, which we were doing anyway with BBA. And I was thinking about, I should be on this tour. But if I was on the tour with Jeff, I never would have got with Rod. As far as
yeah,
I'm concerned, Rod reinvented me.
yeah. One thing leads to another. It's
Yeah,
just,
and so I was with Rod 7 years. I wrote the songs. I helped produce stuff. We played in front of the biggest audiences, even in Australia. Jeff played one night at 6,000 seater. We played, I think it was 5 nights at the 6,000 seater with
mm,
Rod, and then we played a stadium, right?
it's got to
And
be an
we and
incredible
we
feeling.
played we stayed in the same hotel, and they were enemies. And I kind of said, hey, Rod, why don't we invite Jeff to the show? He goes, oh, yeah, would he come? I said, yeah, he'd come. And they invite, it's all in my book. I have an autobiography called Stick It, My
Huh,
Life as Sex, Drums, and Rock and Roll. And all these stories are in there. And I got them together. And then later on, we ended up doing People Get Ready because Jeff was at my house. Broke up with his girlfriend. I was getting divorced. We went to write
that's
music
right.
with my
Yeah.
friend Dwayne Hitchings. Came up with People Get Ready, called Rod, put him on. I was in the studio with Jeff there, Rod over there, you know. And then it comes out, we got no credit, you know,
Oh man,
you
it's a
know.
happy
But
accident though with that
yeah,
that
but it
track.
was it
Whoa.
was, but we did it.
Yeah.
We did
Oh
it, and
wow.
then after that, then I joined Ozzy and Ted Nugent, and always moving on. And that's why you get these guys that are really big name drummers. They've always been with the same band that was big their whole career. you
Yeah.
know, Not
Yeah.
me, I was with different, this one, but I kept my name out there. I wanted to be the Gene Krupa of rock. And I
Yeah.
think I've achieved that.
Definitely. Yeah. Big names
Yes.
you're related to here. It's just
Yeah.
it goes on and on. We'll get that book too, and you're online. Check it all
Yeah.
out. Great music video.
And I wrote a drum book called Realistic Rock that sold over 400,000. And
Nice.
I was the first musician to do a rock clinic, period, not just drum clinic, any rock clinic. And I wrote the book, and some people say I'll legitimize rock drumming with the book, you know,
That
which
is
is
really ambitious.
interesting. And now we just re-released the book, and I've always done crazy. I wrote a book like 20 years ago. It's called a Children's Book of Rhythm, right?
Nice.
And what it
Yeah.
was like, like those children's books you open up and they're all colorful and
Oh yeah,
animals.
yeah.
It's like that. So I had Freddie the
A great
Frog.
idea.
Freddie the Frog jumped in whole notes. Dino the dinosaur had two legs. He was half notes. Penny the Pony had quarter notes. And they all go for a walk and music, and then Freddie gets tired because he's jumping, and they're faster than he is, and he rests, so he's sitting on the rest. It's interesting.
Good stuff.
So I'm in New York. We're packing. My wife sold her house here, and I came upon that. I said, "Wow, I wonder if Hudson Music, which just re-released my realistic rock book, which sold a lot." And I sent it to him. I said, "We should talk about this. This is interesting. I don't know what to do with it. I've
Yeah,
had it in
yeah,
my
Hudson.
files forever. You know,
Yeah, that's a
and
good
it's like for
distributor.
young kids, like 3 years old.
It's a great
And
idea.
4 years old. And where music is demonstrated by animals.
Oh, that's a great idea. Wow.
Really crazy.
Well, cool.
I
Well,
got
nice. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's been a
yeah, it was good
pleasure.
fun.
Great story you have out there and a great new album out there,
Yeah, I'm
Temple
real
Blues.
excited about the album. Everybody seems to be excited about it, so
Good
I'm
stuff.
right there.
Good stuff. Yeah, get it wherever you get music and
Yeah.
best wishes to you. You're probably going to keep going and going, so you have a good future
Yeah, I'm
too.
talking about another album after this one.
Good
So
deal.
I work a lot with Cleopatra. So I talked
Awesome.
to him about it. He said, "Yeah, let's do that." So I'm waiting to get a call back from somebody else to make sure we can do it.
Look forward to it.
Cool, man. All right, dude.
Have a
See you
good one.
again. Ciao. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I couldn't remember Howlin' Wolf's name in the intro. This is how crazy it is because I've got so much stuff going on in my head. There's a lot going on these days, folks. Howlin' Wolf. Give Howlin' Wolf the credits. Willie Dixon did a lot of penned a lot of those tunes. But back to our man, all this stuff. And then Melanie, through technology, was resurrected into this project. Who does just, wow, what a voice. Melanie. Anyway, Cactus. Temple of Blues too. Please, folks, get some good music here. This is just awesome. Carmine is just incredible. Wow. I was just really impressed. These guys who just they kind of, this isn't wallowing in the past. This guy really knows how to embrace technology and really use it. And still doing music videos and doing them really amazingly well. Even if you're using AI, it's kind of becoming part of our lives. It's just that will be talked about forever. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.